Well, we made it, 2023. I hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday season. This year marks a special milestone for me, 25 years in procurement. And all those years have given me the opportunity to see the evolution of this industry over the last 2.5 decades. Organizations that once viewed procurement as tactical administrative departments are now heavily leaning on these same groups to not only reduce spend by way of better negotiation and supplier management, but also by increasing efficiency and driving cost savings within their own department. Some organizations have tried to do this by centralizing procurement and moving away from transactional purchasing to a more dynamic strategic sourcing function. They've replaced the tactical, reactive purchasing agent with more strategic, category-specific procurement professionals. These are experts who have a deep understanding of their category and can also engage with internal business partners to really understand business requirements, including the legal and financial parameters of an acquisition. But remember, the people in a procurement organization are only as good as the tools and processes they have to work with. Changing one without addressing the other two just creates the same problems for new staff. Several years ago, a client brought me in to help with their procurement transformation initiative. But how they actually came about to doing a transformation is a really interesting story. They'd initially engaged one of the big consulting firms to identify areas of cost savings and efficiency gains. Well, 12 months and a little over $1 million later, the consultants came up with this brilliant plan. A complete reorg of the procurement department, realign tactical purchasing roles with strategic sourcing categories like software, hardware, and IT services, and then hire new strategic sourcing professionals who would also be responsible for reducing staff in order to meet cost savings targets set by, guess who, the consultants. What the consultants didn't identify was the need for new processes that would align with the new category structure and the need for new tools to support the new processes. You know, the real value of a strategic sourcing professional is in his or her ability to understand the business problem and help guide an organization from developing requirements to vendor selection all the way through to contract negotiation and execution. Unfortunately, my client was following the recommendations of the very expensive consultants they'd hired. So they invested heavily in the reorg, but did nothing to address the purchasing requests that were still coming into a single inbox labeled purchasing, with no thought to how these requests would be triaged and assigned to the new categories. Also, this organization didn't have a clear procurement policy, so internal stakeholders were still sourcing their own suppliers, negotiating their own deals, and then throwing it over to procurement to rubber stamp the contract and send out a PO. So all of those new strategic sourcing professionals they brought in were definitely a step up from the purchasing agents they'd replaced, but they couldn't achieve any of the cost savings or efficiency targets because of the inefficient process that they had to work with. Needless to say, the transformation was a massive failure. The moral of the story? If an organization wants to accurately measure cost savings and efficiency gains, they have to first establish a baseline that not only looks at the capabilities of the existing staff, but also the tools and processes that are currently in place. More often than not, simply equipping the people you have with the proper tools and enabling them with better processes will help your organization achieve significant cost savings and efficiency gains. I dive deeper into that and a few other topics in my negotiation training course. There's a new cohort starting January 9th. Check out the new website, onevnow.com, and reach out to me if you're interested in the training for yourself or your team.